that the decision that we're making as council members benefit Marlboro County, not certain people, not certain persons, and we haven't made an objective decision. And honestly, probably no time since I've been on council, we have not made an objective decision. I look at this recreation project. We didn't make that. That decision was made for us. We voted on it.
Dr. Johnson, keep it to the topic.
This all is in alignment. This all is in alignment. Because if we're not making decisions as council members, we're hurting our county. We're hurting our county. The right position, the right administrator that have no necessary ties to any group of people, no necessary irons in the fire, any group of people can have an objective look at Marlboro County and engage Marlboro County as it can be, not as it has always been. One thing that I've always heard on this council is that's how we've always done it. We don't need anybody that's going to do it like we've always done it, because how we always done it have not proven to giving us any results. It hasn't. Look at our unemployment rate. We got $7 million and there's not nothing new coming out of that $7 million. Not new brick and mortar, not nothing, because we've done it the way we've always done it. And it's hurting our county. I don't care if people don't like me. I don't care if not one of your council members like me. That's not my job is to make people like me. It's not my job to make friends up here. I respect everybody up here, but it's not my job to make y'all like me. It's my job to have an objective opinion about the growth of Marlboro County. And this administrator that we are offered to pick should be someone that can grow our county into the future, not someone that's going to continue to go in the same fashion as we've offered. Somebody that have the connections and to be able to bring resources to Marlboro County.
We're on the same page. I mean, we that's what we want. We want somebody like.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
I got a question.
Mr. Chairman.
He's got it.
Strowman had it.
Mr. Strowman, you go.
So just a quick question. Does Ms. Sumter does she have an assistant?
No.
There's no assistant HR person? So it would have to go to, you're right, it would have to go to.
So, Mr. Chairman,
go ahead.
with that being said, hearing everything everybody said, from the Association of Counties, the last time we asked for the Association of Counties to give us some information to bring back to council so we can move forward. This is what the Association of Counties come forward with. Hearing what everybody's saying, hear the way it is. This is, I mean, I understand, sides. If you do anything, anybody connected to Marlboro County can say it's steered this way or steered that way. This is a professional executive search. Florence County went through it. I don't think it was with any of these people. I don't know. You know, they just hired an administrator. A couple of administrators have been hired throughout the state using an executive search that, you know, from what I gather is council sets the salary, council does this, but they put it together. All the stuff goes to them. Like you said, 175 or to 80 people, they automatically turn them out. They would bring us a group of about 5 applicants that would come to us. We would look at them, we would see them, we would interview them, we'd talk to them, and you can move forward. That way they would have no ties. The people interviewing would have no ties. It would cost us money, but it would be a thing to where we'd direct them what to do. They would gather, they'd get it back. I think that could be the most efficient thing it is. I mean, it's hard for us, all of us, to get together. So if we're talking about meeting 5 times a week to get all this information in, you know, I don't like spending money. I mean, I'm going to be tight with a dollar, but if this is not any of them, there may be somebody else out there that could actually do an executive search on this level that meets all of the things that we want. And I think that's what, I mean, you know, our HR person has recused herself, so it can't go to her. So with that, I mean, I think you go outside so nobody can say, Jason Steen had a so-and-so and he's allowed so-and-so. I mean, or Anthony Wiscamp. We could go outside. We could do it professionally, right? As Dr. Johnson said, it hadn't been done. We hadn't done it this way before. We've never done it this way before. This is thinking outside the box, but it's doing it the same way that for other counties have done it on a professional level that nobody can say anything about it.
Mr. Chairman, I want to reiterate what Jason said. I think we're proceeding down the road that is in the best interest of the county, going outside the box. This girl that was up here the other day, that company, whether you choose them or whether you choose a group that Parker Poe has that we pay money to represent us. I think we need to, as you says, it's always been done a certain way. Well, this is doing it a different way. We're going to get an outside group that is independent of Marlboro County to take the applications, to grade them, and look at who were to say the best 5 candidates out of 100. There's no telling how many we'll have put in for it. But we're going to get a larger pool of candidates by going through one of these professional organizations that does it every day of the week. And I just think that we need to go outside of county council and let an independent group take the applications and grade them, and then present us with 5 people or whatever number we determine we want presented to us, and let the council, we will be the deciding factor of who hires the next administrator from Marlboro County. And when they present us with 5 or 7 or 10, however many, we're going to get probably 5 to 10 highly qualified people that we can look down their applications and interview them in meetings and stuff, and we make the choice of who is the best qualified for Marlboro and who can take us down that road of improving every aspect of life in Marlboro County. But I agree with Jason. I think we're going down the route, whether we use the girl that came here the other day or whether we go to Parker Poe and say, how about y'all make a presentation on how y'all are helping counties that y'all represent acquire new personnel. That's my opinion.
Well, there is also, Association of Counties said, resources available to assist in a permanent candidate search. Milton Pope down there, he is with Parker Pope Consulting, and we could get him to come in here and see what they would recommend us do.
I think if we have affiliation with Parker Poe, we shouldn't get anyone from Parker Poe. If we're gonna be very neutral about this process, we should have, if this is the route that we're going, we should be very neutral. No one even from Parker Poe. Somebody that's totally neutral, totally outside, have no bearing on any, thing with Marlboro County. If we're gonna do it this way, then let's bring somebody in that has no affiliation with Marlboro County, none whatsoever.
I don't think that Fine Great People has any affiliation with, this is just the things that the association said. One of them was Parker Poe, one of them was that one, and there was another one. So if we do that route, Fine Great People and then a Mercer group, it's a nationally recognized executive search. That's what most of them are. That's doing something totally different. And if we had an HR person, I think that was not included, I think we have an avenue, but since we don't, and Ms. Darcy's, considering, I think it'd be fairness to her is to go outside, and like I said, that's just my personal.
Mr. Chairman, I know you got a couple of you. Would you mind calling Ms. Salter and ask her to go ahead and print that information so we can have it before we leave today?
Like I said, the information, we need salary for Marlboro
The top 5.
department heads,
The department heads.
and
We need that.
The job
before we leave.
well, we got the job description. She already sent that, so that's the only thing.
Not interested in names now. I don't want nobody to know. But I have a question though. Now we're talking about using an outside source, and they're going to pick out names, and bring back to us. Where at the same breath, we're saying that Ms. Sumter is interested in it. Now, so you're telling me that if this company don't pick Ms. Sumter, we can't interview Ms. Sumter. Is that what you're saying?
No, I did not say that. I didn't say that.
Is that what do we have any revenue of submitting any name?
No,
I'm asking.
So they have a 2 to 4 week period called discovery, and they just come up here and basically discover what it is exactly what we want. We'll tell them the price range. We'll tell them the job description to use.
Will we tell them who to bring in for us?
And they can help us to do that. We will know every single person that applies. Everybody that applies, we'll know who they are. And in that discovery time, we can tell them we want a weekly update of everybody that's applied and where they stack up with the qualifications.
So
some people have like a master's degree in.
That's not my question.
What Mr. Stroke trying to say is that at the end of their results, they say that we got 15 people. and Dar's name ain't in there.
Well, she will be in there, and we're gonna make, I mean, I'm just gonna say that, we can tell her.
Is she not qualified? You know, cause they're gonna take the top.
Well, they're gonna still give us the name of every applicant.
Right.
They'll give us the name of every applicant.
So we choose who we want to interview.
Pretty much, yeah. And if we want to give somebody a courtesy interview, we can do that. I mean, if we have somebody that's from Marlboro County that we tell them we would like to have interviews for them because they have, you know.
So who,
Marlboro County.
my question is, who's gonna choose those names? So if Ms. Sumter wants to be on that list, included into the list that this independent.
We would give-
Wait a minute, Mr. Chairman, this independent company is gonna give us, and we're telling them to put Dar something name on it. What if I come and say, put, Joe Blow name on it as well? And Mr. Blackman say, well, put Ralph Abernathy name just on it as well. You know, is that what we're doing? Is that what we're gonna do?
No, I don't want the councilman putting anybody's name in there. Everybody, these are their standalone applicants.
I mean, if they apply, that's what I'm talking about. If they apply, do we tell this outside company to include them in the list that they turn in?
We can.
Or we do a
tell them
twofold
anything.
process. Or we engage one of these companies, but we also engage our own, because we might have some local people that might not know that they're doing, you know, the search with Joe Blow Company. And so if we put it out on our own, we might get a diamond in the rough.
No, we can do that. And we can ask them, like the fine, great people, the only people I talk to, they will put in whoever we put in. If they come to us with all the applicants and they say, we recommend these 10 people, we can be like, well, we would like to interview these other 3 people.
So-
so we do have that option.
But will we put our own search process out as well on LinkedIn and Indeed? Because they're gonna do some national, you know, search. But to be honest, and you know, we need to figure out from ourselves what type of person we want for this position. We need to have some specific, so we'll know. We need somebody with some affiliations that we don't need nobody coming from Minnesota that now have to work 2 years to even build relationships, to be able to even find resources to be able to bring to us. We need to be really intuitive about who we pick for this position. We don't need anybody that's going to be learning South Carolina or learning these areas. We need somebody that can come in on day one and say, look, I got 5 resources right now, because we're in a dire situation here in Marlboro. You might not know we're in a dire situation. You might not know, but I'm out there. We're in a dire situation in Marlboro County, and if we're not really looking for somebody that can hit the ground running on day one with already ideas and connections to be able to pull those resources into Marlboro County, I think we're doing ourselves a disservice with this position.
No, you're absolutely right. And everybody on this council, I'm sure, wants the most qualified person, the best person for the job. And we all on this council want the best for Marlboro County. And we don't want to have to come back here and revisit this again. So we want to get the right person from the get-go. But it can't turn into a popularity contest either.
It can't turn into a popularity
we're not going to try to
contest.
get the most popular person out there. We're going to try to get the most qualified person that can make this, that can spend the money fiscally responsibly and, you know, watch out for the citizens here. I think that's what everybody wants.
Mr. Chairman, if we contract with company A or B or whichever one in this search for the best administrator or for a qualified administrator from Marlboro County, then everybody is going to know the process, and everybody is going to have to go through these people to go through. You're going to have to interview everybody the same way. So if we're going to depend on these outside independent people that are independent of Marlboro County, DARS, John Doe, James Doe, whoever in Marlboro County, it's people that we know that we want to recommend you should put in for the job, then they don't know to put in through these people, because they are going to be doing the interviews and taking the applications. And
Right. And I don't think we need to send out any idea to put in somebody's head that, well, you go through this firm here, or you can go straight to us. And you know, that's sending out a double message saying that, you know, well, this is this is the real application. I think every application needs to be handled the same. And we are fully engaged. The recruiting firm will work for us, and we dictate. They go through a 2-week period, and we can meet with them twice, 3 times a week if we want to, and give them a detailed description of how we want to be involved in this thing. And we certainly can hold out an applicant and be like, us as a council would like to see these 3 applicants in with the top 10 or 15.
So,
whatever.
Mr. Chairman, so what do we want from that position? What type of person do we want?
Well, we got a job description. We're going to.
No, I'm not talking about the job description. The job description is obsolete. I can write a job description right now from going to Indeed or internet and copy and paste. What do we want? What type of administrator do we want for Marlboro County? What type of attributes do we see in an administrator for Marlboro County?
One with experience and a lot of education, and somebody with a PhD or a master's or something would probably match that description.
I would like, from the past years on council and my whole livelihood in Marlboro County, I would love to see an individual that is knowledgeable, not only with our surroundings, but our lack of, what we're lacking of. You know, if we bring in a person who has been in different places and has seen growth, or been a part of growth, is something that I would like us to have. I do not want to get someone in with a belief and never got his hand dirty, or never been involved in building up a environment, build up a company, or build up a county or a city. You know, you could have somebody to build up a city, but have working experience and know how to communicate not only with staff but with outside sources, Chamber of Commerce, the delegation in Columbia, the higher ups, the people, the spokes in the wheel make the wheel grow. But if we bring in somebody that don't have the love for what they do, I'm just here to give me a check, and after 3 or 4 years I'm going to the house. That person is not, because like Dr. John said, with the job description, that's black and white. He will ask them, what do we want? What type of person we want that we can go and talk to and say, look, what can you bring to the table that is not in the job description? We know what job description is. It's black and white. We would like to know with X, Y, Z. But one of the things I would like to see have is somebody who have been in the trenches, somebody who can build, who have built something, you know, who got contacts, not just local, but we need people on a state level and some on a national level. They say, hey, I can call somebody. I know somebody. You know, it's all about who you know. We all know that. Everybody here knows somebody who knows somebody. But, you know, that Vert know the governor well, you know, and so forth. You know, Steve know people, you know, Dick Elliott, you know, so we all know somebody who knows somebody. And that person comes in need to know somebody. He can't come in and talk about, I don't know nobody. You can't help us. You know, we at ground zero. We at ground zero. If somebody come in and I'm new, I'm willing to work hard. We all gonna work hard. You know, for her sometimes like you gonna work hard. That ain't the point. But what do you know when you do get the job? You know, we can't hold your hand here. You gotta hit the pavement rolling. You know, and you might not roll the way we want you to roll, but you got to be able to roll. We can mold the wheel.
Mr. Chairman, are there, if we choose one of these outside companies, is there specifics that we can give this outside company? We want somebody from this type of region with this type of background. Is it that specific?
It is.
That we get so we can cater someone that now, you know, if we know they're going to bring somebody to us, there's somebody that fit the dynamics that we're looking for?
Yeah, it will be from us. I mean, we'll dictate exactly what we're looking for.
The presentation, just, like I said, this just from what I heard from her, is they would come in and spend time with council members to start with. I guess any firm would to come in and talk with us, fine. And this person said, I want to know what your strategic plan is, because if that's what you want to go towards, you want somebody that can develop, move towards that. Whatever we want is to what they will go out and search for. Does that make sense? So I thought here, all of us, no matter what, wants the best qualified person for the job to move it forward. I mean, we do want to move it. We do want to go forward. You know, whatever yesterday's yesterday. I mean, we all want to move forward with the best person. Like I said, and is that, I think that's what all of us want. But and I guess all these executive searches, only way they'll know what to search for is what we tell them we need for our county. As Ms. Lawson said, is our salary range. You know, if they interview process, I think you're going to get the vibe of where, you know, we should. I mean, some people can give you a different thing, but during that process, that interview process, that's going to say, I'm using Ms. Lawson. Ms. Lawson is the lady for the job who we want. If we make a bad decision, we just made a bad decision. But if all of us are pretty well unanimous in picking Ms. Burley for the job, then we're gonna support. So I think if that stuff here, I hope there's people from all over. It will be hard to get somebody from Greenville that's got connections to connect with us, but that might be what we do need to be able to go to a small rural county to say, I do have all those connections, I do have that. I'm not saying it would come from me wherever, but I think a firm would have, the way they get paid is they want as many applicants as they can.
Because we regionalize the search. Because like I said, we don't need anybody coming from North Dakota that might be qualified on paper down to the T. And we get them in and they might sound good and they come in day one and they don't know anybody.
But what if they've taken a small town like ours and carried it to the next level? Does that make sense?
But do we have the time to wait for somebody to learn to be able to do the job?
No, that ain't what I'm saying. If they've done it before, and come in, somebody compared it to Marlboro County in South Dakota. This says, there's a Marlboro, South Dakota. It's the same population, the same problems y'all had, and we've grown it into a Chesterfield County or Hartsville. And they might not have the connections, but they still got the foundation. And I think that's what we need is a foundation to move forward. I mean, I think that's what, you know, they can get the connections. I mean, I didn't know anybody when I got on council. You didn't know anybody. I mean, there's people we meet, and it's up to us. We've got connections.
But so I think in my, you know, kind of thinking, and this is my honest opinion, the county administrative position is important, but it's not going to be as important as those underlying positions, the economic development director, and all of those things. To be honest about it, I think we've just had a skewed, distorted version of what that county administrative position supposed to be in the way it has been engaged in Marlboro County. So I'm looking at, you know, county administrative position as being, you know, the chief executive officer of the county, but those positions are under him with strong people that now can grow our county. So it's right. We need somebody that can come in and lead from a perspective that, you know, it's a delegation type lead, a delegating lead versus I am the head honcho and everything got to be about me, through me, because we just had a distorted view of this position. And I read those statutes about, you know, the county council, county administrator, and I'm telling you, those statutes do not read the way it has been interpreted to us. It really does not.
Well, one thing about it, going through a professional recruiting firm, they would have done this before. And I mean, somebody down here, they just hired for Chester County. And I think it's the same group that did for Florence as well.
It is.
Yeah, my thinking is simply this: as long as we don't get a generic group, you know what I mean? Just that's what everybody up here trying to say. We just don't want a bunch of generic names that don't have no tie, the meaning, or any thought of small town USA.
You talking about for the recruiter?
Yeah, no,
So-
no, no.
so
I'm talking
this
about
came
them
from the
sending us-
association.
No, I'm talking about them sending us names of a bunch of generic names that they know. You know what I mean? As long as we have say so, because, and by the way, is that on film? That's,
Since y'all started.
yeah, since we started?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'd like to apologize because, you know, we called Miss Sumter's name and she is one of the applicants, or she's intended to be one of the applicants, and I apologize for using her as an example. I don't want to set her at a disadvantage or anything, I apologize for that. But as long as we don't get just generic name shoved down our throats, that we can say, hey, look, we want to interview this guy too, we want to interview this person, this woman here too. And they may not be as, you know, on paperwork that they send because they send a generic perfect people, but we know these people, excuse me, and we want to interview them. And I'll be satisfied with them. if
So do
can
we
do
have
that.
a consensus that we should, we need to move forward outside source? I mean, the faster we do it, the faster we get the ball
Yeah,
rolling. That's kind of my take.
Yeah, we've
I
got
was
to.
not in favor of, in the beginning when I first got here, but after everybody was talking and doing that, the HR is, think about it, I think that is the better, decision. And I think everybody on council agree, that professionalism is something we never done before, is outside the box. And like I said before, this is the whole world watching, the whole kind of watching us. So if we do something outside, they got say, well, Edward had influence, or Edward did this, or Pearl Lawson did this, is somebody totally outside the box. Like they said, they will come in, talk to the council, we write up, like Dr. John said, okay, do what we want women's involved in the application for a woman.
We want what?
Women, you know,
Oh, yeah.
we got a woman in the search. You know, we don't want all men, we want to be diverse. We want color, you know. In other words, don't bring us X amount of person, you know. Application of just one side.
I mean, Ms. Pearlie may can help us on it. I don't know if you can specify that you want, two white men, two black men, two females.
I think about number.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I think this,
Diversity.
yeah, I think the search itself should
Be diverse.
it should allow for does that make sense?
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna be important for us to be able to publicize as well this process. You know, so, local people would know, or whoever would know how they can access. If they're, interested in being, the county administrator, they know how to access the process that we're, you know, delivering. So I think we need to be transparent about what people need to do, whether it's, the Herald, you know, our website, our Facebook. We need to be really, really transparent about how people can access the process in order to be engaged, for this position.
And I'm sure they can give us, stuff, maybe a link from my website straight to the professional recruiters.
I'm gonna ask him, I don't wanna be out of, well, go ahead, Ms. Pearlie.
Thank you. I just want to say, and Dr. Johnson, you touched on that, I do think we need to utilize our own county website. We're not utilizing it for a lot. I noticed that it's supposed to be building, we have a new person, Mr. Polick, I believe, is doing the website. But please make sure this is updated, because the website for years have not been updated. So I think that's going to be important. But one of the questions and concerns I have is, when we do this search, let's make sure we're specific that it's not a twofold job. Let's be sure that if it's administrative, that administrative has that chief. We messed up, when I say we, because we all are the council people now, no matter what time I serve or when we serve. We want that person to be able to have that authority. We need to hear from some departments sometimes. We never hear from the departments, but that person answered them, but we still need to have some clear vision on what. So if you're gonna have to, that person's gonna have an economic development chair, or he's gonna have a finance chair, whatever, let those people have that decision. Because what's happening is we wanna make sure that that person does give room for growth for someone else. We need several people, because that person may walk in here again and leave us high and dry, and we still the function of the county can't go on. And that's the important thing. Let's make sure the function and the business of the county still can go on with those department chairs. And that's one of the slackness I do see, a lack of thing I do see. And the other thing, I know that school and county and municipalities are different, but one good thing I like what the school district is doing, they have this search, they're in the same situation, but the last 3 applicants that they decide on, they're given the opportunity for the public to come in and do a meet and greet. And it just gives them a feel of what the people are about, to talk to them, just to see from them how they relate. Do they feel that the person can relate? I don't know whether this is out of the norm for the council, but I hope we can at least consider a meet and greet when we get down to the last 3 applicants, to see are we interested in having them to meet and greet, because it could be somebody that may pick up on something that we may not be able to pick up on. I don't know whether that's precedent for this council, but I do know that could be something. I know another county is going through their search, and they're going to give their people the opportunity to say, hey, we did last 3, so we can meet and greet. But if that's possible to, when we get down to that stage, that would be something I would like to see. Because always the county, always the people in the county would like to be a part, and so if that's a way for them to be a part, I really would think that would work for us.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, I think Ms. Pearl's got an excellent point. I think that we can actually work that in ourselves. And when they get down to the last 3 candidates, that we'd like to have like a meet and greet. Like I said, we can meet all 3 of them, and we might not like none of them. You know, you don't ever know. That's one thing we need to keep in the process. At the end of it, if they bring us 10 people, and there's somebody in there that Dr. Johnson or Anthony, that we just say, look, we just don't feel like they're going to be a proper fit for Marlboro County, that we refuse all of them and go back through the process again. I mean, well, I know everybody thinks we're on a real tight time frame and stuff, but you know, we do have Mr. Carabo, or since he's the assistant, he could work as the interim for a while or whatever if we don't get through the process in time, you know. But I think not making a rash decision when they give us 10 names or 3 names, and we just all feel, look, we don't think y'all have got what we want, then we need to have that option that we can use an interim, if it's Mr. Carabo for a while, and then go back through the process. We want the application to come back again. Want y'all to bring us 3 more people. But I think that in the way that we know whether it's going to be a right fit is what Ms. Pearlie said. We do a meet and greet. Let that be part of the process. Before the final decision is made, we have a meet and greet right in here where we meet the final 3 candidates. I think these other school boards and things like that, I think they interviewed several candidates before Dr. Johnson, and then before Mr. Coachman, and before they make the final decision, they get a one-on-one where they can meet the person and feel like it's going to be a good fit for Marlboro County. But I think that's an excellent idea that Ms. Pearlie's got.
I think Councilman Odom made a great point. We don't need to be so hasty in thinking that we're looking at that April 20th date and we got to go ahead and get somebody in because of that April 20th date. You know, I'm hoping that we have credible people within the county structure, that even if Mr. Mullen didn't go exit stage left April the 20th, that we have people in place that can still carry on the day-to-day operations of the county. And if we don't, that's our fault.
And that's would be where we.
If we don't have somebody right now that can step, if Mr. Mullen, God forbid, would happen to go out on sick leave for 5 months or something, if we didn't have somebody in place, that's our fault. So I encourage you all to go back and read those state statutes so you will have a clear understanding what our responsibilities are as council members, and I promise you, you will get a different interpretation than what has been interpreted for us and to us. We do have some autonomy in the way we engage the county administrator. We do have something way more authority than we give ourselves credit for. We cannot do the county administrator's position, but we have way more authority than we give ourselves credit for. So we won't ever be in this position where if someone leaves, that we're scratching our head like, what we gonna do? Because right now, to be honest about it, we're in a situation where we don't really know. Because we don't know who else in that department could step up. We don't know who really does responsibilities. We don't know, and I think Steve is already retired. We don't know. Shame on us as council members that we don't know certain things about the inner workings of our county, that we can be confident enough that if Mr. Mooney would say, you know what, April 20, I'm taking all of my leave, that we want to say, we got somebody in place, let's engage this process like we need to engage it until we find the right person that's going to take us into the future. Shame on us.
I think we do have a good team up there, Ms. Sumter, Mr. Kirby, Mr. Park. You know, I think we do have a good team up there, because you have to be prepared, like you said, if somebody gets out sick, we always call it the bus syndrome, you go down the side of the road and the bus gets you. I mean, we will continue to operate, so we don't have to be in a hurry. I agree 100% with that. You know, as I was saying, I don't want to be out of order, but we have heard that. I mean, as he said, recruit, if Parker Poe's got ties, we eliminate them. I mean, this person, they don't have any ties. I mean, all they is they've done an executive search. We did hear that their process of how they would engage council.
Do we need to vote on this, Chairman?
So the thing would be, do we feel comfortable to say we're gonna add this to add it to an agenda to engage with, I mean, if we're gonna say the firm, so we can get the process started, even if it takes 8 months, at least our citizens know, our staff knows, I mean, administrator knows, whoever, they know we're moving forward. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to.
Before the motion, the lawyer, Mr. Mr. McLeod, shouldn't he be knowledgeable of some of the things that the county?
He worked for the administrator.
Right, he works for the administrator.
A county attorney.
And so that's a question I have, because that way, if he works for the administrator, so then, once the administrator leaves, who will he be reporting to?
He's the county attorney.
No.
Yeah.
That's not what they interpret. They say he is the
council administrator. He is the county attorney that works at the directive of the administrators. Does that make sense? He is the county attorney. He's not council attorney. But if we have things, it would go through, it would go to the county. Yeah, it's like that.
That's what I want to be clear about,
Yeah,
because I know with that when I did a little orientation session, that means the clerk to council, we need to be considering that too, because wouldn't that be our duty to hire the clerk to council?
Yeah, and
I'm not trying to move too fast, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying, so we really have two positions that we need to be.
And we're advertising now for the clerk of council.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think Ms. Sumter, Sumter's getting applications. I think it's, that in the, we get back to the, but it's just been put out there is get an application process,
So
because we
it's
have
on
four
our
at least a
website.
week now.
It's on our website.
Is it?
See, this is the thing, is it on our website? Those are kinds of things, so our local people will know.
Why is it
I
not
didn't
on
see it.
the big screen, the jumbo screen that we pay money for on Broad Street?
Well, we're getting off topic here,
Yeah.
but,
No, I'm saying we're talking advertising dollars.
well, I think just managing that sign. I mean, really, I think that sign is a lot to manage, and somebody needs to be in charge of managing, so that.
But let's get back,
Back to the point,
Go ahead,
thank you
go
for
ahead,
giving.
Chair.
no,
I mean, so, would it be appropriate to amend the agenda and add I guess it would say, to add hiring a firm?
I don't think you can amend the agenda now.
Yeah, well, I think we can go ahead and,
Well, if we don't amend the agenda, can we add one thing to the agenda? We can add it.
Go ahead.
I think you're supposed, after you approve the
Yeah,
agenda,
you
you can't really add anything. This is the thing, when we approve the agenda, you approve those items. I mean, that's my understanding of the
this-
agenda.
well-
But if you want to get that point
So,
in
hold on,
somewhere.
let me see how the agenda,
Okay.
let me see what the agenda
Okay,
read, and
because
I'll make a
the
motion.
agenda
All right, well, let me read, see what the agenda said, and I'll make a motion off the agenda.
Okay.
a discussion of county administrator search.
So we really can't.
So with that,
It had been approved.
We ain't even approved the agenda.
We didn't approve the agenda, Jackson, so we can vote to approve the agenda, or we can vote to amend the agenda.
so we have not approved the agenda, so we can approve to amend the agenda at this part.
Right.
Is
That's
that,
right.
that everybody in agreement with that?
Yeah.
So with that, I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda and add to 1A A, is to add, moving forward with a third-party executive search. For just county administrator title.
I got it right now, I guess I'm the second. Move forward with, third party.
Carry the motion, sure.
Party search.
We had a motion and a second.
Okay, all in favor, changing the agenda? It is unanimous?
No, it's not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so it's 7-1. All opposed? Okay.
And the reason I am opposed is because I really don't want to use a secondary firm. I really think it is council's responsibility. I want to go on record stating that I think this is council's responsibility to do that, but I'm one vote.
And it is our responsibility, but I think we're going to get better applicants, and they're going to all go through the same process.
And I'm fine with that. I got
Okay.
6-1. I mean, 7-1, so I'm fine.
Okay. With that being said, we have been recommended 2 or 3 recruiting firms.
Mr. Chair, if I may, as Dr. Johnson said, we had one firm that county does business with, the Parker Poe firm. I move we do not.
I second.
Okay.
That, so with that, I'm just gonna move forward. I don't want to, we did have a thing from, I'd make a motion that we would accept or enter into a contract with Find Great People to move to the next level for administrative search.
How long, before we have a discussion, how long are we gonna be in contract with that person? Do we decide that, or do they decide that?
That's until we find an administrator.
It is, until we
So
find.
If we go 6 months, we stay 6 months. If we go 8 months, we stay 8 months.
Right.
Yes.
So it's just open
And they get paid
for each.
just as
On
whenever
commission.
we hire.
Right.
Whenever they hire, they only get paid the percentage of the salary.
That's correct.
That's the only time the monies are.
Yeah, that's the only time.
And I would include that in the motion for that.
So there's no upfront. I thought when I read it, there was a 25%, and then there was a
I saw that too.
back end fee
That's what I
or
thought.
something. Yeah, we need to be
But
clear.
with the clarifications to move forward, we should have had to move forward with the proper protocol to engage with Find Great People. And we're the understanding that we move forward with the percentage just like they were. Is that fair enough to say?
Say it again.
I sure want to be clear, because I don't want us to say that we said this and we didn't. The clarification for me, just so I can
Let's-
understand, what is the clarification?
let's-
We'll
we'll have to read it.
Okay.
Okay, do you have it available right there at you?
I don't pull
If you
it.
have it, we'll just,
Okay.
I'll let you read it as to put it
Let me be
in
sure I have
there.
it, because I usually have everything.
I have to go through my.
It was a single sheet, wasn't it? I highlighted. It was in the packet, it was in the other thing. Give me a second.
It was a workshop.
I know. I pulled all that stuff.
With the, what you look for that, with the, unfortunately, the last 2 times we hired a clerk of council, the council was not involved, the full council
Was not
involved
involved.
in the
That's
hiring.
Travis.
And I think that, on this clerk of council procedure, that we as a council be fully engaged. The last 2 clerk of council, the council was not the full council. It was a select few people that was involved in the hiring process. And, I think the full council need, we as one, we need to walk in the same footsteps as everybody else. So we gotta get Councilman Steve to chime in, he gonna sit not in, but you gotta say something, Steve, I tell you. Bring something to the table, guys, go ahead and talk. Steve got it for y'all.
I agree with everybody saying. I mean, I want somebody to come in here and move us forward, and not be with one group or another. I just want to move the county forward, and, I don't want, nobody to have no special ties with them. I want everybody to be able to do the same thing, call him anytime they want to, or they got a question that he can answer. I mean, that's all I want. I mean, so I ain't, you know, I just want, I agree with not being in too big a hurry, because I want to get the right one, not just get one. You know, so that's my opinion. I mean,
I left mine on the.
I'm trying, it's in, I'm just having to find it, I got it here.
Okay.
It's on the, just gotta figure out where it was at.
I apologize, because I.
It says, it reads here, I'm just gonna read, it says the cost of the search is 25% of the first year's salary to include any sign-on bonuses. The search begins with the payment of a retainer fee of a third of the estimated placement fee, non-refundable. The second one-third of the total fee would due upon commencement of interview process, and the remaining balance of the fee will be due upon completion of the search within 30 calendar days of the calendar start dates.
Oh, so that's completion of the search, not completion of the hire.
Right.
We might need to revisit that. Because what if they complete the search and we don't?
It says, and the remaining balance of the fee will be due upon completion of the search within 30 calendar days of the candidate start date.
Gotcha.
Oh,
So that is whenever,
It is a hire.
so that will mean when you would hire.
So, going back for the first statement, you said a third of the salary, we gotta get a salary, because we can't, if we hire them.
A third of the 25%.
Right, but you gotta have a baseline, we don't know what the range gonna be.
Well, okay,
Cause we got that one, we got actually called Dawn to find the top 5 people.
Right.
So we can tell, whoever we decide to go with, this is the base, it can be no lower than X amount of dollars. So they can bill us, it's a retainer fee, you gotta be paid up front. So we can have some kind of dollar amount.
now that will be part of the discovery thing, what they call discovery.
Alright.
And when we come in here, we can have a work session before they get here. And we already have all the information from Doris. And then we can get Ms. Awesome's information on everything across the state.
How about this? I don't know if, the camera's still rolling, but what if we had a date? I mean, I know to have these people come where they could answer any question we have before we move forward.
Who's that?
This, where we were fixing to make the motion. Would y'all feel comfortable with that?
I think that.
I mean, can we get a date? I mean, I know Mr. Odom is, you know, I know Mr. Odom's got tied up, but he's got, I mean, it would be to make a presentation.
You already made it, she's already made that presentation though, right, to you all, right?
Yeah, we have, and I felt fine. I did. I mean, and this is what it says, so all the thing we would need, I guess, would be the actual, salary range. I mean, so if.
And we could easily come up with that. I mean, you know, we just get the information from Doris and see what else we're up against from the state, and the Association of Counties can give us that.
And look around what the neighboring counties are paying.
Because whatever we say, that's gonna be the third.
Right.
Whatever we agree with, that's the third.
Right.
So if it's, $100,000, that's the third. If it's $150,000, it's the third of the first year starting salary. That's what it said. So with that, I would make a motion to move forward to find great people based with the terms which is presented. The cost of 25% of the first year's salary, to include any sign-on bonus. The search begins with the payment of a retainer fee of a third of estimated placement. Second, with a third of the total fee upon commencement of interview, and remaining balance we will pay within 30 days of the start date of the administrator.
I'll second it again.
Okay, so,
With the stipulation that we set the salary.
right, we will set the salary.
That will be part of the
We gotta put it
discovery
in the
process.
motion. Put that in the motion. Go ahead and go in the minutes after the motion. That's all.
I have a motion and a second.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor? That's 7, all opposed? Did you abstain, or did you?
Yeah,
You voted? Oh, okay, I thought you,
It's a quick vote.
okay, so it was, okay. All right, that's unanimous. So,
We have any other business?
So I guess we need to somebody need to make contact. I mean, Chairman should make contact.
I'll make contact today.
With
And let's say, okay, so when do you, as soon as she can, if she can get with us next week, I know, Councilman Odom, you can't meet except in the evenings,
Yeah, it would be the evening.
but y'all would like to meet next week, maybe?
Whenever, the fastest way to get to these salaries and get that out the way, because they're gonna need that.
I'm gonna hope we have that emailed to everybody today. I'll get staff to, email that information today, and even the state.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, we also said too that they have another workshop, to discuss other matters we left hanging for Tuesday night. You gonna try to do all that the same day? If they come
We
in
could.
this week?
We
I
could.
thought we were gonna do that today.
We're gonna do that next, because we were waiting for some
Yeah, we're waiting on-
information.
Yeah, we're waiting on West Park.
That was the,
and all that stuff.
that was the recreation, that was completely separate from this one. When do y'all wanna do that meeting?
I'm fine, I'm gonna keep my schedule open, waiting y'all to call me.
May I ask the question? This is an executive meeting, right? This is what we call an executive meeting, right?
It's official council meeting.
Official
It's
council
open-
meeting.
open
Okay,
meeting.
so it'll be televised?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when can we have workshops where we can have some discussions?
That's what we're talking about
Yeah,
now.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, that was addressed to you.
But go ahead.
But all council meetings are public meetings,
Right.
even call meetings are public. And the only time that we can discuss business as a full council is in executive session. And then we have to state what it is that we're going in to talk about. But there can't be like a workshop. If there is a workshop that's not recorded, it has to be with 4 or less council members.
Okay,
Am I correct?
That's right. That's correct.
Okay, so that's what that is.
thank you.
Okay, so we will come up with a date for the workshop, and that's gonna be mostly recreation. And if we need to add this to the agenda, something off of here,
Right, okay.
yeah, we can do that.
Just kind of poll anybody, all council members, before we have any call meetings, and kind of, that way we get work schedules, which it'd probably be good to poll everybody.
Motion we adjourn.
Any information I get in, I'll share it straight with y'all. I'll try to get it, come straight from staff, straight to y'all, so. All right, so is there a motion to
Motion to
adjourn?
adjourn.
Second. All right, all in favor? It's unanimous, we stand adjourned.